My name is Miguel Sozo Sierra. I am technical designer and world builder here at Soulbound Studios.
I'm Jason Death Welter. I'm the UX designer and game designer for Soulbound Studios.
So last week we met with Robert and Crystal, along with their friends Phil and Dawn. Robert and Crystal being friends of mine, and they all being members of the SCA and a medieval organization. Robert, being a jouster himself, agreed to put on the show in order to demonstrate for the Soulbound Studios team what actual jousting looks like in person. The opportunity to get our hands on the equipment and the armor, and that was really valuable. Dennis, the technical art lead, was there, and we discussed different things like lance shattering and lance sizes and armor, and overall, I mean, it was a very valuable experience.
Yeah.
We also got to borrow a lance.
We did.
So that's cool. We have a lance in the office right now. It's not. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I started prototyping, incorporating all of the functional spec ideas. I know you met with the other teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we went around and we took the functional spec and talked to each of the individual teams, making sure that it sort of made sense, talk to them about their pain points with it, what they think would work, what wouldn't work, make the adjustments as appropriate. Started researching other jousting games, or even games that weren't considered a jousting game but had similar mechanics to it, and trying to find what was fun about each one of those, what they did well, what they didn't do right. And then looking at, Miguel's research that he did with the learning about jousting and the rules of it, and trying to figure out how that could pair to it. Because when we do jousting, we want it to look exactly like it. Like when you see it, you want to be like, this looks like it's an actual jousting match. We don't want it to be like super gamified or have like turbo boost, like flames coming off a horse. It needs to be appropriate. And I think that was one of the hard things, finding that balance between, what's exactly fun, what works in the real world, what can we do to make it different.
There are three things that make a compelling gameplay experience. If you're exercising a skill, taking a risk, and working a strategy. And so as long as those three elements exist within jousting, then the gameplay will in turn be compelling. It'll be fun.
I used to compete in fighting games a long time ago, and I've always been into League of Legends, and even in Warcraft I did arenas and things like that. And for me, the idea of jousting sort of appeals to that. It's sort of taking everything down to moments, like the moment of impact, the moment that you better someone in a skill challenge. And I think it's giving that difficulty to overcome the task of jousting, finding a way to prove that you're better than the other person. And then also having the different options to do it. I don't want it to be stagnant. I don't want to have it just literally one option. I come there and I hit the guy, and my goal is to hit them hit them really hard, right? The way we're developing it is so you have options to it. There's strategy to it. You can deal with positioning to get a better angle on the opponent. You can try and knock them off the horse more. You can play the safe route and just try and get a point win, so you're hitting them in the shield very consistently. Things like that I like a lot, because it feels rewarding when you do something and you can outthink the other person. And I think that's the nice thing that we brought to jousting, is the fact that it's not purely, the head-to-head anymore. It's head-to-head, but we're adding some more strategy into it. What's the most memorable thing from the joust?
Was it when the cop showed up?
Technically, would not be a lie.
Or was it when the two fully armored men on horseback ran towards each other and hit each other with big sticks?
Yeah,
I was gonna say that was pretty memorable. Just the
actually seeing the sheer size of the horses with the guys fully loaded up on armor, and when they actually started running at each other going, this is gonna happen, these guys are gonna bust lances on each other, was probably the coolest moment for me.
Alright, well, now that we're finished up with the design side of the jousting experience, we're gonna go over to Robert, Phil, Crystal, and Dawn actually performing jousting and learn a little bit more about that, so I hope you enjoy.
Wall, soul, bars, frog. And he needs a trim. He is due for a trim. His bars are starting to get a little long. Up. Okay. That is a very, very, very basic trim. A real trim would take a lot longer and we get it looking nice, but that's the idea. What that does, remember when I showed you the bars? So those bars can actually grow out to the point where they're contacting the ground. And then as the horse steps, those bars, because they're straight, he has a bone inside his hoof called a coffin bone, and that bar actually grows out just right next to that coffin bone. If it's too long, if they're too long, they start contacting the ground. They can actually start impacting that coffin bone. Okay, this is called a Londonier, and this is actually a period garment that was specifically just for holding legs up like what I'm going to use it for. In fact, this is accurate to a suit that would have been mid 15th century, so middle of the 1400s. All told, my armor probably weighs around 110, 120 pounds. This is actually a suit that I have kind of put together bit and piece over the years. Now we start doing the fun part.